How am I supposed to do this? This one's for the next, and this is one going back. Then maybe I should stand over here with you all instead of looking at you, okay? I would appreciate if you have a question to just interrupt me. Doesn't work? It does? Oh, okay, sorry. I'm not used to a microphone. If you have any questions, please interrupt, okay? I think that's much better. I'm not sure if we're going to finish with all of this right now, okay? Because there might be lots of slides and there might be interesting questions that we can ask that you might want me to answer. What I can do is I can give you the presentation, and the presentation can be sent to you just in case you would want to have it, okay? I think that needs to be coordinated maybe with Ms. Angelita or somebody else, okay? Right now, mindset. Mindset has to do with worldviews. Worldviews has to do with if you are afraid of what the world has to offer you, on the one hand, no, and if you are happy, no, or expecting, or you like that the world will offer you opportunities, no, different kinds of things, no, so that would be a more positive view of the world against the most, let's say, a bit negative view. It also has to do with a fixed mindset and with a fluid mindset. In fixed mindsets, you usually have, let's say, you're more conservative in that idea, no, and in a fluid mindset, you're more open to differences, okay? There are lots of mindsets that you need to have as a teacher in order to be able to teach, and I just chose one, which is the relational mindset in the classroom. Oops, sorry. Okay, I need to get used to this. Okay, so there have been changes in the classroom, okay? There are many changes in life which reflects in the classroom. There's disruptive change. You know, for example, we have Mr. Trump in the White House, and it's disrupting the whole world, okay? And we don't know how long it's gonna last. Jobs have changed. You know, your job as a teacher has changed. You know, I'm sure that my job as a teacher has also changed during the time that I'm here. Students have changed. You know? Your profession has changed. Teaching can be very frustrating. You know, there's a lot of technology going on. There's more administrative stuff that you need to do. You know, I think you all know about this. Okay? Now, working with students, you need to deeply understand that students come from different places, from different homes, you know, and the experience that they have, they can grow up, let's say, in a rich environment, or they can grow up in a poor environment. You know, that is all going to affect the brain. You know, and the brain will be wired according to your experiences. And that reflects the environment that you're growing up in, okay? The areas of the brain, for example, that are going to be affected is responsible for memory, impulse regulation, visual spatial actions, language, cognitive capacity, and conflict. I put that in Spanish. Okay, all of those are affected. There are issues. There's a health issue. Students will have a poor diet at home. They can have a rich diet. They can have a so-so diet. That's going to influence, you know, their learning in the classroom. There's going to be chronic stress, you know, depending on the person, depending on the activity too that you have to do in class. You know, because if you have an exam, some people get very stressful. It's a very stressful situation. You know, and if you have a fun activity, it will be less stressful. Okay. You also have social emotional relationships going on, you know, in the classroom, whereby some of the students can have poor manners or better manners. They can misbehave. You know, they are emotional overreactions. Now, as a teacher, you have really two things to do. One thing is to kind of teach the material that you have. You know, that's one thing. You know, and the other thing is, depending on the age of your students, you know, they also need to get some social skills, so that everything flows in the classroom. And sometimes that can be difficult. Of course, not all of these apply at the same time. There is a powerful connection between emotion and cognition. Emotions are a critical force in students' learning. Okay? When students feel a connection with teachers and feel respect and trust, they behave and learn better. Okay? If they like the teacher, for example, you usually do more for the teacher. It's not really the course that you like, but it's more because of the teacher that you do that. Okay? Humans can and do change. There's neuroplasticity in the brain. The younger you are, usually the more adaptable you are. And the connections are made in your brain. If you have more experiences in one area, then there's going to be a cable, like in your brain, that's going to get stronger and bigger and thicker. If you want, those are usually your habits. Once you want to break that habit, it's very difficult sometimes to do so. But it's possible. And just 2 hours of cognitive training shows changes in the brain. The classroom teacher is still the single most significant contributor to student achievement. It's not anything that's outside. It's when you're in the classroom, because you're there for I don't know how many years, you're teaching, like different levels. The student goes through school, and the teacher is the most important person in his life or her life while doing so, while growing up. It's greater than the effects of parents and peers and entire schools. So you as a teacher are it, or not it, are the person, because it is the thing. It's important to have a positive message in schools. Another one of the mindsets is to have a positive mindset, which I'm not talking about today, okay? Because the message, the stories that schools give, have to be upbeat, affirming, hopeful. That's what, I didn't catch your name because I came in late. It was Jenny. Jenny, was trying to explain to all of you, in her presentation. It was upbeat, it was affirming, it's hopeful. So mindsets matter a great deal. Okay, let's see what the research has to say. I come from the natural approach. Tracy Terrell was my advisor at the university, and one of the hypotheses that the natural approach has is the affective filter hypothesis. Now, what I understood was in the classroom, you need to have a nice environment in order to teach. Educational neuroscience talks about high and low affective filter. This is the educational neuroscience talks about the emotions affect the classroom. Okay, that's when I was studying that. That was mentioned in the books. I got this from Gestión. It was on page 5 on July the 2nd. It was a comment made by somebody from the Ministry of Education of Mexico. I translated that, and it says, "A climate of harmonious and inclusive coexistence is conducive to learning." Okay, that's all nice and dandy. Sometimes it's easy to connect with students. Sometimes we come from the same background. You might come from a middle class, let's say, and your students might be from a middle class. But it's going to be difficult if you're from a middle class. No, it's not difficult. It's going to be more challenging. Let's be positive about this whole thing. If you have to teach, for example, people that come from a richer, they have more money, that go to better schools usually. Or, like if you have to teach in a school where you have children that come from a lower socioeconomic group. So there are differences. How do you relate? And that's not easy to do. So we're all in this together. When your students succeed, you as a teacher succeed. So you need to build a kind of teamwork. The relational mindset says we are all connected in this lift together, in this life together. Always connect first as a person and an ally, and second as a teacher. So do you do this If yes, how do you do this? No, because, for example, the affective filter said, like, okay, the classroom needs to be nice. No, my neuroeducational book says, like, okay, emotions is nice, and now in the classroom, it has to be positive and whatever, but they don't tell you how to do it. I mean, I didn't figure that out, how to do that, So the need to connect is hardwired in us. It's something that humans do. As infants, we need to connect with a person, usually the mother, because you depend on that person, for sleep, for safety, for clothes, for shelter, for interaction. Students also want teachers to offer more inclusion, to integrate their personal experiences into the lessons, and facilitate more interactive discussions and team-building activities. It's not a one-way street. It needs to be a two-way street. Are you all with me? Yeah? If I go too fast, please let me know. Okay, students who feel affinity for the teacher tend to engage more. This is especially true for students at the secondary level. Sometimes it's easier, for kids, for smaller, younger kids, for children that go to primary school, to love their teacher more. But once, like students get older, it's more difficult to connect with them. I hope that some of you have had that experience. So you need to personalize the learning. The most important thing, and this Tracy also was one of the things that he said, was learn students' names. Okay, create a me bag, share an everyday problem, share progress on goals. Learn your students' names is the most important thing. Sometimes the most difficult thing for a teacher, to learn, because you have like maybe 30, maybe 40, depending on how big, your classroom is. It's difficult. Sometimes there are 4 people with the same name in the classroom. So they have the same uniform on, usually, depending on the classroom that you teach. So you can use desk name tags. You can quiz yourself. Name them when handling quizzes, or asking questions. Have eye contact. Greet them. Give them a handshake when they come into the classroom. You can say, hello, so-and-so. Hello, Bridget. Hello, Juan, whatever. It's easy for me to learn their names while I'm in class with them, but like if I see them 10 years later or 4 years later, unless something exceptionally has happened with that student, I don't remember their names anymore. And I feel bad about the whole thing, because usually students do remember your name, and then say, hey, hello, how are you? And I'm going, oh. Create a me bag, okay? This is for every single person in the classroom, where you put little things that belong to you, in a bag. It can be a photograph, it can be a favorite snack, keys, memories, whatever. And then during one classroom, you take one of those things out and you tell a little story about it. Something personal. I would put in a basketball, for example, or maybe some yoga stuff. Or maybe a dictionary, a book, into my bag. My bag would be a big bag. And at the same time, when you're talking about your personal stuff in the classroom, you're also remembering, Bridget likes reading. It makes it easier for you to remember the name too. Teachers are role models. They need to show a model as an adult. Share a challenge or a problem. It's a window into an adult world. Usually it's a one-way thing with us. We have our material, we need to transfer, but we never usually don't get their feedback to us. We never share, the things that we are going through. We're human beings too. We have our own experiences, our own things. I remember when I was teaching 6th grade at a girls' school. I don't know why, we were talking about boyfriends. Girls, when they're 11 or 12-year-olds, they like talking about those things. They were watching all these soaps, They gave me advice on what to do, Yeah, it was really funny. No, Mickey, you should do this. Mickey, no, you should do that, Yeah, I was just going, what? No, it was funny. Share progress on goals. Set and share personal goals. Post your goal and share progress. For example, you could say, I want to be an instructor in something. Let's say in my case, yoga, what do you do? They also need to have, if they're learning English, for example, you also need to tell them, how they're progressing. So in your challenge, to become a yoga instructor, for example, you can say, okay, today I've done this. I finished chapter 1 or finished chapter 2. I was able to do this. And you share that with them. Connect everyone for success. Connecting with people, is what makes people happier than money. A strong feeling of acceptance in class and school helps protect students from damaging environmental and social threats. Sometimes it's difficult to accept the child, or your student as he or she is. We will talk about that later. Then there's the 50-50 rule. This is another point. To effectively impact academic achievement, teachers should split class time equally between social time and individual time. So you need to do cooperative learning, feeling of belonging, strong peer support networks. Okay, I'm not sure we can see this. The social time, you will have working in groups. My experience has been sometimes, even though they suggest that this is good to do, my experience has been that sometimes when you work in a group, there's always one or two that will not work. But it seems also because in business, later on, people are going to be put into groups in order to work, that they need to learn this experience in the classroom. I prefer to work like in twos, because then I know that they are working. But I also do 3s and 4s, depending on what it is. But there's always somebody that doesn't. You need to have study buddies, or partners to quiz each other, so that usually I pair somebody up who's a little bit stronger in English with somebody who's a little bit weaker. I also alternate, so that they all get to know. I will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ones get together, 2s get together, 3s get together, so that they get to meet, all of the students in the classroom. Because usually, for example, you're probably sitting here next to somebody who you know. You might not know the teacher on that side, and that teacher on that side might not know that teacher on that side. When I do other types of workshops, I usually start with questions, and I put people in groups. That way you get to know a teacher from some other school, or institute, and you end up being friends. You end up knowing somebody, which is what I can't do here today. Okay, you can have learning stations, you can have group projects, and then you also have solo time. Now with all the computers that you have, you can work by yourself, on a computer. You can do reading, reflection, writing. There are different things that you can do in individual time. Collaborative strategies. Human beings are not just driven to be social. It's something that's in us, and it's in our DNA. We want to be part of a group. So why does social time work so well? Because it's fun. It builds connections for social skills, as well as academic skills. At secondary level, students don't want to lose face by letting down a friend or a classmate. In short, the emotional side gets a big boost when you add interdependency to lessons. Okay, when I was teaching, usually the setups in the classrooms, it's, okay, you have the teacher here, and then you have usually like desks there. In my case, it feels like, okay, I'm against all of you, even though that shouldn't be the case. So I would try to mingle. I would try to make students work, put them in groups, put them in twos, move desks. Move desks. Move students around. Once in a while, you just need to say, okay, stand up. Let's exercise a little bit like we just did. And move into something else. Because we're sitting too much in classrooms. No, it doesn't really help. And sitting is bad for your health. You have cooperative groups and teams of 4 or 5 students. No, allow them to work as a team, let themselves identify themselves as a team. No, having a slogan, a name, no, a logo. No, they might even develop a logo for that. No, give everyone a unique and valued role. No, set class norms for all group behaviors. Ensure the team works together daily. Now, class norms is important. It's something you need to agree on. You maybe come up with a contract on how to behave. No, so that if somebody misbehaves, no, we apply the rule that we all agreed upon, even the teacher, because we can misbehave too. Study buddies. Teachers set students up, no, with somebody who can help you out and who takes responsibility for the success of his or her partners in the class, no, to make sure, no, that we both get a good grade. Well, maybe not a grade because that reflects, no, but that we both know the material. I'm not really much for grades. No, I usually put checks or say check plus. No, instead of giving a grade, because students here also, you know, like focus on, I got a 20 or I got an 18. 20 is the highest grade that we have here. I got a 16, fine, I passed the course. No, but when you underline mistakes, for example, in a writing that they have, no, and they go in, you know, grade, okay, and what does this mean? No, why? Then they come up with questions. No, why did you underline he eat? No, for example. No, I don't know, you know, and then they can come up, ask, and then you can say, what's the third person singular? No, present tense, he eats. Ah, okay. Student mentors. Every student can benefit from receiving guidance, encouragement, and leadership from someone who has more experience. No, so 4th graders can mentor 2nd graders, 6th graders can mentor 4th graders, 11th graders can mentor 10th graders. When I was in school, I think I was in the 2nd grade of high school, they paired us up with a second grade of primary school, and they send us to the classrooms, no, to check on their lunch. No, I was pretty mean. Yeah, I was 12 or 13 or whatever. I was pretty mean, and I had been taught, no, that, okay, you get your lunchbox, you have to eat everything that's in your lunchbox, no, because that's why they send it to you, no? So here we were kind of mentoring that, no? I remember like maybe a year ago, I met somebody who recognized me, and she was in the 2nd grade when I was in the 2nd grade of high school, no? And she said, you were really mean, and I went, oh, you know, like, oh, it couldn't be. No, but I also used this technique while teaching at the girls' school, because I asked a teacher from, I think it was older, I was teaching secondary school then, and we went to like a 4th grade, no, and we had the older kids read to the younger kids. No, it was an experience. They would have like 2 or 3 kids with them, younger than them. No, and they would do a reading exercise, read out of a book, comment on that. It was a great experience for the older kids because they learned, no, that some of those kids were not behaving as they should, no, and that they needed to do something about the discipline and talk about that. And you can also have temporary partners. What's most important is to show empathy, I think. You know, what students need most, someone who cares about their personal life as much about their school progress. You know, you need to try to put yourself, I mean, it's always difficult to really understand 100%, you know, like the other person's life, you know, but this is what's most important. You know, you need to make caring explicit, and you need to use empathy tools. Some of the responses, you know, when you hear something that has happened to them, you know, I'm so sorry to hear that, you know, and then have a sad face while you're saying that, because if you say, I'm so sorry to hear that, no, and you give a fun face, no, it doesn't, the message doesn't get across. No, they might say, they might give you something, they might tell you about an experience that they had when that they've been bullied, no? You can say, that makes me sick, sad, upset, concerned. No, if somebody comes in late to class, it can happen. No, okay, come in, join, then talk. No, we were worried about you. No, what might have happened? Are you okay? No, maybe somebody falls. No, doesn't want to recognize that, no, she's hurt or he's hurt. No, check on the person's safety and well-being. No, another way of answering is, like, that's awful. I don't know if I could handle that as well as you are. No, because we don't always have the right ways of reacting to certain things. No, just as kids learn from you, you also learn from kids or people in general. Show empathy. Seek first to understand. Stop telling students how to fix situations at the moment that it happens. No, you can try to make them understand how to fix situations. Maybe or give them options, because you never know if the situation or the fixing that you've done is the right one for them to do. No, they also need to learn to make their own decisions and to see what works for them. No, don't lecture, which is what we kind of do. No, you're supposed to do this. No, why did you do that? No. Don't judge, which is difficult if you're in a fixed mindset. No, because if you have a fixed mindset, then you say, okay, this is how it should be. No, and you're doing that against my rules, really. No, and it's really not fair. No, sometimes people do things. No, they have a reason for doing it. No, they sometimes are in a situation whereby they have to do it that way. Connect quickly, using their names. Connect early. Make rounds in the class, small conversations, compliment. And you can also connect late. When check students when they leave the classroom, and sometimes they have to go to another class. Maybe there's somebody that goes, because they're going to a course that they don't really like. And that's not good for his or her. In order to learn what or to receive the knowledge that is going to be provided for in the other classroom. And connect with students' home lives. See what's going on, how you can help. It's a lot for teachers to do. So what's your mindset going to be? Change the narrative, you change your teaching. You are your mindset. Okay? What is it going to be? I was hired for the content I know. I don't have enough time to teach social skills. I wasn't hired to be their parent. Or are you going to say, we're all connected in this life together, always connect first as a person and an ally, and as a teacher second. If you don't get to connect, the students will not absorb what you have to, the knowledge that you have to give them. So for me, this is the most important thing in being a teacher. If you don't connect, that child, that person, that adult, whatever, is not going to be as successful as he or she could be, by being open and by being ready to receive the information that you have to give them. And it's not just the content of the course that you're teaching. It's also social skills, life skills. That's it. Okay, I have no idea what time it is. Or I don't know how this goes.
No, we have some questions.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Maybe we
Yeah.
have some questions.